tonight I'm going to be gently tapping on this little glass pot with plastic lid on it. It actually had yogurt in it originally, well, I realised how amazing the sounds were that it made, especially with the lid on it, so I thought, de-stress, seeing as I got a little bit wound up earlier, and hopefully it can help you relax too if you've had a stressful day or night, or you just need to sleep, but like me, you can't. So let's get into it. My nails are a little bit longer now, but they will be coming off again soon as they're getting scratchy again, so I thought I'd make the most of them while I have them. So I'll do it ear to ear. But yeah, I mean, it's Sunday night. I wasn't sure if it was after I went out earlier, but no, it's Sunday night, and I had to nip to the shops about an hour or two ago to get some things that I really needed. I couldn't wait till tomorrow, so that's how much I needed them. So I got the bus and I went down into the next town, because it's the only cash machine. It's the only cash machine that's around this area that gives you £5 notes out, and that's what I needed because that's all I have left till I get paid again. So I had to go into the next town to get it instead of staying local. But I thought it's Sunday night, it's quiet, there isn't going to be anyone around, so I wasn't too nervous. But I think, as I've said before, probably in almost every video I've done, I have quite bad social anxiety and fear of crowds, and sometimes I'm okay, I can deal with it better than others, but other times not so good, especially if it's just sprung upon me unexpectedly. So I had gone down to the next town to get the cash, and to my surprise, all of the nightclubs were bustling with hundreds of people standing outside, inside, you know, right at the bus stops as well where I had to get off the bus. So, you know, everyone was cheering, partying as normal people do, which I've never been able to do because of the way that I am. You know, part of me is glad, but part of me kind of wishes I could have had a little bit of that, but I accepted a long time ago that that's never going to be the case, because it's just not who I am, it's not in my nature. Mentally, I can't. I've tried before, but, you know, I never did it. You know, even when I was younger, never had big parties and stuff like that. It's just, I'm just my own person. So these people were there, nightclubs, partying, whatever, you name it, the usual. Like it was almost like it was a Friday or a Saturday night, like the sort of hustle and bustle you would usually get. But I wasn't expecting it because it was Sunday, so I thought everything was going to be dead like it usually is on a Sunday night down there. But yeah, just hundreds of party animals. They didn't bother me, thank goodness. You know, clearly some of them were intoxicated, probably a large number of them, but they didn't bother me. But it was just the social anxiety. Just as soon as I seen them all, I was like, what? It is Sunday, right? It is. Have I totally got this wrong? Have I missed the day? What's going on? You know. But then I discovered that, unbeknown to me, there is a bank holiday in Scotland tomorrow, so that will explain it. If I'd have known, I would have just held off till tomorrow to get the shopping, you know, but I had no idea. I haven't been out a lot lately, because I've been feeling a bit unwell, but I'm hoping to get back out again soon. And like a lot of people with social anxiety, sometimes the more you stay in and sort of unintentionally hide away or intentionally hide away from the world, when you do try and venture back out again, it can make things even worse. It can heighten the already existing severe issues, you know. I haven't been staying in through choice as such. Like I say, I've just been feeling crappy a lot. And my bad sleeping doesn't help, obviously. Not being able to sleep till later on in the morning, and then you wake up and it's the middle of the afternoon, and just sometimes it's a case of you can't be bothered, or the time you get ready and stuff, you know, there isn't much time left in the day anyway, so there's no point. But I mean, so I was going to do this video anyway tonight, but I thought it might be even more beneficial after my little scare earlier. But I was okay. I mean, over the years I've built up a tolerant, well, I don't know if I can call it a tolerance as such, but I can, when I get really spooked or I feel like there's possible danger, even if there's not, you know, in my head with the anxiety, if I think that there could be any possible sense of danger, that I always make sure that I can somehow avert it. And in this case tonight, it was walking further down the street away from all the clubs and down round the corner to the other bus stop, where thankfully it was very quiet. So, and the bus was very quiet, thankfully. Did that just change pitch? It is, it's changing pitch. Can you see me? Can you see me? It's like fisheye. Yeah, so I'm okay, and thankfully nobody bothered me, but anyone who has the same sort of a problems as I do, like social anxiety and stuff, paranoia, you'll understand that even if nobody's intending to give you a hard time or anything, or go anywhere near you, or even notice you, in your head they're all looking at you, they're all noticing you, they're all out to get you. Even although deep down you know that's not the case. Sometimes, on rare occasions, you know, you do get idiots approaching you, shouting stuff at you, but thankfully that rarely happens. But it's always that fear, especially with past experience, you know, that fear is always there. And that's why I always, in my mind, I have the ability to, I don't have the ability to stop the fear or stop the thoughts or be like those people that I see out having a good time. I do my own thing to have a good time, which is very different to most people, like club goers and stuff. But what I do is, I always, I'm not able to be like them, but I'm able to in my mind, I don't remember what it's called, there's a name for it, fight or flight. I just immediately go for flight, and like, I always manage to get an aversion plan in my head, like, if I can sense it or see it ahead, I'm like, okay, I need to go this way, or I need to do this, or I need to go here. So I always, well, most of the time I always find a way to steer clear. So over the years I've built up an ability to do that, so that I can deal with it as a coping mechanism. I remember one year in Guy Fawkes many years ago, I did that in the same town that I was in tonight, which is about 4 miles away from here. It was Guy Fawkes, and it was absolutely crowded with thousands of young people that had went to the big firework display in the park. And, you know, I was caught up in all the crowds. They were everywhere. You're like, no matter where you went, left, right, front, back, there was nowhere I could go to avoid them that night. They were literally everywhere once the fireworks had finished. And I had to get on my bus to go back home. I lived somewhere else at the time, so it was further away. And I thought, I'm on the bus now, I'm safe. And then all of a sudden, a large number that was in this crowd got on the same bus. I was up the back, and I didn't have any time to move or anything. They were all right up the back, and I was trapped there with them for the best part of an hour. But again, thankfully they didn't bother me. You know, they were all covered in mud because they'd been walking through the mucky park and stuff, but you know, so that was 2 bouts of trauma that I had that night. And when I got home, I was like, I made it, I'm alive, I'm still alive, let me check myself. Oh. And I have had so many instances like that, I couldn't list them, possibly even in a 5-hour long video. I couldn't. It happens on such a regular basis with me. That's why I've kind of avoided going out Friday and Saturday nights now. Or Friday and Saturdays in general if I can avoid it. So, because the town in which I live in is actually, over the last few years, it's become quite a scary place. You know, I heard stories that back 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it used to be a very bad place, and then a few years ago it had all quietened down and it had become much nicer, much more pleasant when I moved here. but over the past couple of years it's went right back to how it used to be, which is a shame. It's got the potential to be such a lovely town. Like, when you look at pictures of how it used to be back in the 50s and the 60s, even the 70s and 80s, and you compare it to what it's like today, it's really sad more than anything. Just different generations and different ways of thinking. It's just, nothing will ever be like it was, and in most cases that's not a good thing. Personally, I wish I would have been born around 1960. I love the 60s, 70s, 80s, even in the early part of the 90s, but I feel at the start of the millennium, you know, that's when the whole world started to change for the worse. And as time goes on, it's only getting worse. Yeah, if I could go back in time, I'd go back to 1960. And I'd stay there and just grow up in that era, in the 60s and the 70s and 80s instead. Because everything I've seen, all the music, just the lifestyle, the style of people, the way people thought, the industry, the booming shops, before all the online stuff came, you know, I love all that. Just people had dignity and mentality back then. There was still crime, of course, there was still all that, still bad things happening, but just how the world dealt with everything was just so different back then. A lot of people were more like me. I'm very old-fashioned for my age, and that's why I think I don't fit in this world. I'm just not like most people, which is good, but there is that little part of me that thinks I wish I could have been, but I knew from a very early age that I wouldn't be, put it that way. But I didn't even mean to talk for so long in this video. I'll do another video with this jar and a few other things that I can acquire. Hopefully that will make good sounds, or it will be like a no talking type video. Yeah. And then there's that part of me that thinks I feel silly because with all the terrible problems going on in the world and all the unbearable, unthinkable hardships that some people face on a daily basis, and here I am stressing about bumping into a crowd of people when I got off the bus. But as I've said, I'm glad that I'm different, but I wish that side of it wasn't there, that fear, that constant fear of normal things, you know. In a way it's good though, I guess, because it keeps me safe, keeps me protected from any possible confrontation or getting caught up in something, which has happened before, you know. So, again, it's all about that fight or flight. And I just go for the flight. I would only ever choose to fight if I had to, and hopefully that never happens. Yeah. It has a few times before, but I'm still here. Anyway, I hope this video and listening to my silly little story has helped you relax and maybe even fall asleep. I will bring this back for another video, maybe do something more visual with it. So in the meantime, hope you enjoyed it, guys, and I'll see you for another video, probably another rant at some point again soon. Good night, good morning, afternoon, evening, dusk, dawn, whenever you may be watching this.